Hey everyone, it's DDD. Good afternoon and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to give my official predictions for tonight's NXT TakeOver Chicago and WWE Backlash respectively for the women's division matches exclusively. So first, getting into NXT TakeOver Chicago and predicting the NXT Women's Championship match, we have a triple threat. Asuka will be defending her women's title against Nikki Cross and Ruby Riot. Originally, the match was scheduled to be a fatal four-way with Asuka, Nikki Cross, Ruby Riot, and Ember Moon. However, as I'm sure most of you are aware by now, Ember Moon is currently out with an injury and she is not cleared to compete currently. She suffered a shoulder sprain injury, I believe, during the number one contenders women's title battle royal a couple weeks ago when Asuka interfered and attacked the final three remaining women in Ember Moon, Nikki Cross, and Ruby Riot and threw Ember Moon out of the ring. Now, most people, from what I've been seeing as far as like commenting on the injury, have kind of blamed Ember herself for overselling, being thrown out of the ring, which may be true to an extent. However, it has kind of rubbed me the wrong way, the way some fans have spoken about it. It's almost kind of as if people were like being a little like narcissistic about it, and I feel like, that's not cool. At the end of the day, they risk their bodies for us and they perform these stunts and they try their best to entertain us. So I don't think that it's right to, basically ridicule them or criticize them for trying to put on a good show for us. Accidents happen. And I think the best thing to do in these kind of situations is wish the talent the best, not criticize them. But, to be honest, I was very much looking forward to this match at first, the Fatal Four Way. Just because, I was looking forward already to an Asuka Ember Moon rematch, so that was already enough to sell me. Then adding Nikki Cross. I've been wanting to see Ember and Nikki mix it up for some time because I've never really seen them mix it up at all. I know they've competed several times on like live events and house shows for NXT and stuff like that. However, it's never really made its way to NXT TV. So I thought it would have been a good opportunity to see them mix it up. We haven't seen Asuka and Nikki mix it up too much either. We just got to see a little bit from the previous Fatal 4-Way earlier in the year. And even then, I feel like there was still a bit left to be desired in seeing some interaction between the two of them. And then Ruby Riot, I still haven't seen much from her. So I was interested in seeing what she could do and how she would mix it up with the other three ladies. I'm not gonna lie, Ember Moon being injured and having to be taken out of the match was very disappointing for me, and it did bring my interest rate for the match down a fair amount, just because I love Asuka. Nikki Cross, I like her too. But it's just as far as I guess in the ring, she hasn't really done too much for me yet to make me really feel like she's someone alone for me to be just interested in knowing she's in a match, even though I do like her character. As far as Ruby Riot, she's okay from what I've seen. I haven't really gotten to see too much of her. However, I'm not taking away from either of the other two challengers in Nikki and Ruby because I have heard, I've seen and read all the comments and different things. I believe that they are good workers, and from what I've seen, they are good. But, I just haven't seen too much for me to really be excited compared to Ember Moon, who's been on NXT for, basically a little over half a year now, and we've gotten to see what she can do and, just get used to her being around. So with all of that being said, because I feel like I'm doing a lot of rambling, getting into my actual prediction. Um, to be honest, at first, when it was a fatal four way, I was predicting that Ember would possibly, this would probably, be her moment to get the title, just because I kind of felt like Asuka and Ember's rivalry was kind of centered around the idea that Ember could beat Asuka if she could connect with the Eclipse. She wasn't able to connect with the Eclipse during NXT TakeOver Orlando, so it left question to wonder whether she would have been able to beat Asuka if she did connect. Um, I think that during this match, she would have possibly been able to connect and then win. But to be honest, even though I kind of wanted to believe Ember would have been the winner, I couldn't really put my finger on who I thought would be the winner. Um, but now that it's a triple threat, as soon as it became a triple threat and I realized that it became a triple threat, automatically in my mind I just said Asuka's retaining. Whether Ember is supposed to be the one to defeat Asuka or not, just putting that out there generally speaking, I think that Nikki nor Ruby were going to be the ones crowned as like the new NXT Women's Champion. I just didn't see that happening. Nikki Cross, I still feel like she hasn't really established herself outside of Sanity yet too much to win the title from Asuka to have that big moment. Um, I just kind of feel like it doesn't make too much sense. It would have made more sense for Nikki to go over if that was the case, if they were actually having a rivalry one-on-one with one another. Ruby obviously is way too much of a fresh face as well, I feel like, to just win the title right away. Um, so, yeah, however you want to slice it, I didn't see Nikki or Ruby winning. Um, but moving forward, getting into my actual prediction, um, I actually have to give credit to Salamonster, his little podcast show, for the record, because I've been like listening to videos of his where he has done his different podcasts, and he's kind of thrown this idea out there saying that, um, with Ember not being the one to defeat Asuka at the last takeover, he believes now that it would be a good idea for WWE to capitalize on the momentum of the women's tournament that's going to be taking place this summer by having the winner of that tournament, like, basically the prize of winning the tournament is receiving a not only a WWE contract but probably say a NXT contract specifically to like just officially be on the roster, and not just a contract though but a NXT Women's Championship match. Asuka could still be the champion at that point, undefeated, and then that would honestly be a good rub for whoever wins that tournament to be the one to defeat Asuka, and then have that be Asuka's final match for NXT, or even if they have a rematch, whatever. I just think that would honestly be a great idea moving forward. Um, but to be honest, I feel like Asuka doesn't necessarily need a rematch if she were to lose. I feel like it would be kind of perfect for her to lose her title in the match that she puts over another talent and then just goes to the main roster. I think that would be cool to just end her story like that. I wouldn't have a problem with that personally. I also wouldn't really have too much of a problem if Asuka still retained against the winner of the women's tournament. However, it goes down, I still believe that the winner of the women's tournament should kind of get that big platform to give Asuka her send off. Because even if Asuka were to retain, I feel like by NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, that should be Asuka's last NXT match, and she should be coming up to the main roster the Raw or SmackDown Live after SummerSlam. And before, I was kind of anal about Asuka having to go to the Raw brand. However, with Charlotte moving to SmackDown Live, in my mind, the reason why I always felt like Asuka had to go to Raw is because I always looked at Charlotte and Sasha as the top two women on the main roster since they've been on the main roster. So I just felt like whatever brand those ladies were on, Asuka needed to go there. However, with them being split up now, I honestly anticipate seeing Asuka versus Charlotte just as much as I anticipate seeing an Asuka versus Sasha match. They're both dream matches for me. So with that being said, And maybe, I kind of lean more towards Asuka versus Charlotte. So it's kind of a toss up for me now. She could go to either Raw or SmackDown Live. It doesn't really make a difference to me. However, I guess if I could choose, and just after listening to ideas from also Salamonster and just, other comments and videos and just putting two and two together, I do think it would be cool, honestly, now for Asuka to go to SmackDown Live and for them to build towards an Asuka versus Charlotte feud for WrestleMania next year. So after hearing all of those ideas, it kind of helped me come really, really, to peace with the fact that Ember didn't go over Asuka, because I know that was what everyone, including me, were predicting for NXT TakeOver Orlando. However, that didn't happen, and I kind of feel like it halted Ember's momentum. I'm not saying that like in a bad way, like I feel like, oh, she really should have won and I'm upset, or like she's being buried or anything. It's nothing like that. It's just, I think that if they were gonna have her win, they kind of should have just had her win there. I mean, obviously, if she were to still end up, you know what I mean, you never know, being the one to defeat Asuka, that's still fine. Um, I just feel like if she were going to be the one to win, it kind of should have just happened at the last takeover. But I'm okay now with the fact that Ember didn't win. I mean, I was always okay with it. It just threw me off. But I actually liked the booking decision just because of the fact that it wasn't predictable. Like, darn near everyone predicted that Ember would win the NXT Women's title in that match. So for her not to win, I feel like that was a really good booking decision by WWE to book Ember to look really strong over those past several months, and really entertain the prediction that she would be the one to defeat Asuka, just to sweep the rug under everyone's feet and have Asuka still retain. So with all of that being said, I'm really leaning towards, Asuka still staying on her undefeated streak in the couple months coming, and to ultimately drop the title to the winner of the WWE Women's Tournament that will be taking place on the WWE Network this summer. Now, getting into Backlash for SmackDown Live, their exclusive pay-per-view, their first exclusive pay-per-view since WrestleMania, and since the Superstar shakeup. We have Team Naomi versus, I want to say, I guess the Welcoming Committee. So, representing Team Naomi, and I say Team Naomi because she's the SmackDown Women's Champion, we have the SmackDown Women's Champion Naomi, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch facing the Welcoming Committee, which consists of Natalya, Carmella, and Tamina. Now, for this match, as far as how I feel about it and if I'm looking forward to it, to be honest, I'm not really too excited for it. Just because, I mean, it's a 6-woman tag. I'm kind of over like women's tag matches being booked for pay-per-views. It just doesn't really excite me too much. It's kind of underwhelming for me. Um, I realize though that this is really kind of to help, Charlotte's babyface turn, have that progress further, and also I believe set up a new challenger for Naomi. Now, this is where I really kind of got stuck in my prediction, because I always predicted kind of from the beginning that the Welcoming Committee were going to win, just because I felt like I said, it was going to set up a new challenger for Naomi. But I just had a problem pinpointing and coming to a conclusion who WWE would actually want to put over as, the next threat to the SmackDown Women's title. So obviously, like I said, we have Natalya, Tamina, and Carmella. So after seeing how everything's been built, and I'm glad I actually waited this long to give out my prediction video for this pay-per-view, um, And after reading blogs and everything like that, it seems that WWE are high on Carmella. They apparently, from, reading reports, taking them with a grain of salt or however you want to take it, they apparently have been high on her because they like how she carries herself. They like how she has, took in, the angle with James Ellsworth, which I feel like, to be honest, gets way more criticism than it should. I honestly think the storyline is fun between them and it works. Carmella really isn't the best in the ring, so it gives her time to. It gives. Her being with James Ellsworth really gives the opportunity for her character to be highlighted and help get her over while she continues to improve her ring work. And I believe that was the whole intent and idea behind pairing them together. Um, and Apparently, big rumor is too that she was originally supposed to go over at WrestleMania in the six-pack challenge for the SmackDown Women's title, and then she was supposed to drop the title to Naomi 2 days later on the SmackDown Live after Mania. And while it intrigues me that they were going to originally go with that booking decision, I am very glad that they didn't do that. Just because even though I do like Carmella, I don't think that she is ready for a title run yet. And despite the fact that she would have lost the title 2 days later, I just think that would have been a pointless hot potato that didn't need to happen. And I'm glad that they ultimately didn't go with that decision and they allowed Naomi to have her moment. Um, but like I said, because of WWE being high on Carmella, apparently it is being reported that they want her to be the next challenger for Naomi's SmackDown Women's title moving forward, I guess, to the next SmackDown Live brand pay-per-view that will be coming up. So with that being said, I believe that the Welcoming Committee will win with Carmella getting the fall on Naomi, but this time I believe she will get a genuine fall. Like, it'll be a clean victory. Um, if I'm not mistaken, I don't really remember too much because, to be honest, the build up to this feud has kind of been somewhat forgettable. The only real highlight, I guess, for it has been the couple Charlotte Naomi matches and just the, center of Charlotte turning face again. But I am aware that Carmella has a couple clean victories over Naomi already. Or I'm not sure if they're both clean. I just know she has two. The last one I believe that was a roll up, so I guess you could say that was a clean win. But I just don't remember if there was maybe an eye poke or any dirty tactic. I don't remember. I just know she does have technically a couple wins over her. But this one, I believe, for the pay per view to set up the Carmella Naomi match and to have Carmella look like a genuine threat, she'll probably get the win by submitting Naomi to the Code of Silence. So that's my official prediction for that match. I believe that Charlotte will look strong and she'll really, get the spotlight more than anyone in this match because I believe WWE really wants to put the focus on her and highlight her face turn and help get her over in that regard, even though really I guess she doesn't need that much help because the WWE Universe have basically taken right away to Charlotte's face turn. They've been really already cheering her before she came to SmackDown Live and started slowly making the turn. So, as I said, those were my predictions. Like my video if you agree with my predictions, if you liked my predictions, and maybe they're yours too. Comment if you agree with them and you're looking forward to these matches, and maybe even if you disagree and you believe that the predictions or matches will go down a different way. And subscribe if you aren't already subscribed for more videos. So until next time, it's been D. And as far as when I'll return, I will be back. I don't want to say tomorrow. I don't want to promise tomorrow and then don't come back tomorrow. So I'll say, well, you know what? I won't really promise you guys a date when I'll come back just because I just recently got a new job. Not to just brag or anything, I'm just keeping it real. And my schedule isn't really too concrete right now. So I'm not sure I'm not sure what days I'll have to work this upcoming week. And I don't want to promise you guys anything. But I will definitely be back at some point in the week coming up to both review NXT TakeOver Chicago and WWE Backlash for the women's matches. I won't be reacting to them, but I will be here to review. So, I don't mean to disappoint anyone who may have wanted a reaction, but at least you guys still get me. And until I'm back for that, see you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and bye.